I bought a dress from Goodwill. I don't think it ever belonged to the living. I'm posting it here because I don't know where else to put it, and now I can't sleep anymore. About 3 months ago, I stopped by a Goodwill on my way home from work. It was raining hard, the kind of rain that makes everything feel gray and heavy. I wasn't looking for anything specific, I was just killing time, until I saw the dress. It was hanging alone at the very end of the rack, slightly separated from everything else. Long, black, simple, but not cheap looking. Old-fashioned in a way that I couldn't place. Not vintage cute, just dated, like it belonged to another timeline entirely. The fabric was thick and heavy, too thick for a dress, and when I touched it, it felt cold. No, not air-conditioned store cold, cold like it's been left outside in the winter. I almost put it back, but something about it pulled me in. I know how that sounds, but it's true. I felt this weird pressure in my chest, like if I walked away, I'd regret it. The tag read $6.99. No brand, no size, so I bought it. That night, I hung the dress in the back of my bedroom door. I didn't try it on. Something about wearing this dress felt wrong, like I was stepping into somebody else's skin. I told myself I'd try it on later. That was my first mistake. The first night, I dreamt of standing in a narrow hallway. The walls were yellow, the lights were flickering. I could hear someone breathing behind me, but when I turned around, there was no one there. When I woke up, my bedroom door was open. The second night, I started hearing footsteps. Low, deliberate, back and forth, back and forth. I laid in my bed, froze, listening as the footsteps stopped right outside my bedroom door. I waited for the handle to turn, but it never did. In the morning, the dress was on the floor, neatly folded. I told myself I must have knocked it down. That's when everything escalated. Every night after that, my dreams became more vivid. I dream of being watched, of standing in a church I didn't recognize, surrounded by people dressed in black, all facing me, except I can't see their faces. Just their mouth murmuring. Sometime I'd wake up with smell of dirt in my nose, damp soil, rotten leaves. Once I woke up with mud under my fingernails. I don't garden. I don't even own a plant. One night I woke up and saw someone standing in the corner of my room. A woman, tall, thin, wearing a dress. Her face was wrong, not distorted, just empty, like someone had erased her features and forgot to put them back. She tilted her head slowly as if she was studying me. Then I blinked, she disappeared. The dress was hanging back on the door. I didn't sleep after that. I stuffed the dress in a trash bag and shoved it into my closet, planning on throwing it out the next morning. That night, I woke up choking. It felt like the fabric was wrapped around my neck, heavy, pressing. I clawed my neck until my chest burned, until I could finally breathe again. When I turned on the light, the dress was draped over me, perfectly arranged as if someone had dressed me while I was asleep. That night, I snapped. I grabbed my phone and posted a picture of the dress on Facebook with a joke caption. Anyone else has ever purchased something from Goodwill and immediately regrets it? I didn't mention the dreams or the figures or the choking. Within hours, I got a DM. It was from a woman I didn't know, no mutual friends. Her message says, "This is going to sound crazy, but where did you get that dress?" I replied asking her why. She didn't respond for a few minutes. Then my phone buzzed again. I buried my mother in that dress 15 years ago. I stared at the screen waiting for a punchline. There wasn't one. She sent me another message. I picked it out myself. Black, long sleeves, simple cut. She hated flashy things. My hands started shaking. She continued, "When we burned her, the funeral home asked us if we wanted her clothes back later. I said no. We burned her in it. She was cremated." Cremated? I asked her how was she so sure. She sent me a photo. It was old, slightly faded, a woman laying in her casket, wearing the dress. My dress. That night, the footsteps came back, but this time, they didn't stop just at the door. They crossed my room. I felt the weight settling beside me on the bed. I felt the fabric brush against my arms, and I felt fingers curl slowly around my wrist, and a whisper right at my ears, "Give it back." That night, I could not sleep. At sunrise, I drove to the Goodwill where I bought it. The dress wasn't in the bag anymore. It was hanging in my back seat. I screamed and pulled over. I threw the dress out of the car and drove until my gas light came on. I moved out of my apartment 2 weeks later. I didn't sleep. At sunrise, I couldn't sleep. At sunrise, I drove all the way to the Goodwill where I purchased the dress. The dress was in the bag. It was hanging in my back seats. I screamed. I pulled over. I threw the bag out of the car and drove until my gas light came on. When I got home, the dress was at the house. I moved apartments 2 weeks later. I burned the dress in a metal barrel in the back of my friend's house. Or at least I thought I did. Because last night, I woke up with my closet door open and something cold brushed my ankle, and I swear to God, I smelled dirt. This was a very crazy story, just like all the other stories I've shared. This one was very, very crazy. And a lot of times people don't realize that a lot of items that you purchase, whether new or old, actually has spirits attached to them, especially if you're getting something from Goodwill. It definitely has spirits attached to it. And you have to do some sort of cleansing or whatever. I actually don't even recommend purchasing used clothes from Goodwill unless it's something cute that you want to try, but I highly recommend you do some sort of cleansing ritual to remove whatever energy that was attached, especially when it's like a clothes, because if it belonged to somebody else, their energy is still attached to this set clothes. I even highly recommend, like if you're throwing your clothes away and all that stuff, you release, you cut the cord of the energy that is attached to the clothes, because clothes hold so much energy, especially like clothes and jewelry, holds the energy of the previous owner. So I do believe this story to be true, because I've heard stories about jewelries that have been purchased or clothes or mirror from like Goodwill, and it comes with like an attachment to it that that belonged to the previous owner. It doesn't always have to be negative attachment, but there's definitely an attachment to it, and a lot of people don't realize that a lot of things around you actually carries energy, holds some sort of energy. It might not be good or bad, it might just be neutral, or it could be good in or bad. So it really all depends. You just got to be very careful out here. But this was a very, very interesting story, kind of sounding like the Ouija board, people destroy and then it pops up back out of nowhere, or the Annabelle doll just coming back out of nowhere after you done threw it away or you sold it to somebody else. It's just very, very strange. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, because I did. I enjoyed making it, and also I enjoyed really listening to the story because it's very bizarre. This was a Reddit no sleep story time with Jenny. I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.